Hello and welcome along to Carrying On, my personal take on records and vinyl from here in sunny or a little bit rainy today, Thailand. Yeah, it is the rainy season here in Thailand. So the weather hasn't been so great, but hey, all the better for staying in and listening to music, I say. Now, if you remember last week, I talked about my trip to South Thailand, to Songkla, where I had a great time at Nusantara record shop, and I showed you some of the records that I bought, all the records that I bought there in Nusantara. That was in my video last week. Um, have a look at that if you haven't already. But today I want to go on to my second little holiday trip that we did to Bangkok. I went with the family. I say we. I went with my wife and my daughter. We had things to do in Bangkok, but hey, I was never going to miss the chance to do some record shopping too. There are quite a few record shops now in Bangkok. You could almost say you're spoiled for choice for vinyl shops. You certainly can't go to all of them over a weekend. There's a lot to see, covered over a large geographical area in Bangkok. So I chose a couple to go and visit and both shops which I'd never been to before, actually. So this was very interesting for me. Now, we were staying in a hotel near the river, the Chao Phraya River, and so it was easy for us to get a riverboat. Just costs 20 baht, about 50p, um, um, less than $1 to get down from my hotel to Icon Siam area, which is a big posh shopping mall right on the river. And right opposite there is another small arts and antiques shopping mall called River City. And inside there, for the last couple of years, there has been a record shop called 242 Records. It's quite a small shop, but run by a passionate Thai guy who really knows his music. Used to live in London, actually. We overlapped. I was living in London while he was living in London, actually. And we had a nice chat there in his record shop, 242 Records, which does a really nice variety of genres, everything from rock, pop, jazz, funk to kind of electronica, hip hop, even some broken beat stuff, which I was into back in the day. 25 years ago, I was listening to broken beat and going to broken beat dance clubs like Co-op in London, and he knew all about the broken beat scene and some of the artists like Jazzanova. And he had a broken beat section, which was quite funny there in downtown Bangkok on the river. The broken beat section. I didn't buy any broken beat. In fact, in the end, I only bought one record there, and it was this one, Lee Ritenour's "Rit," which was quite a big selling record back in the day. I think in 1987, this was released, I think, certainly mid 80s. Oh, no, sorry, got it wrong. 81. 1981, actually. Yeah, so this yeah, this somehow sits in the kind of the jazz fusion, even rock yock area, not a million miles from Steely Dan, this album, which was quite a departure though for Lee Ritenour, who's, a classic jazz guitarist, but obviously had crossover appeal and potential, a little bit in the smooth jazz area. But this album, he got vocals as well, um, and uh, uh, and yeah, from yes, Eric Tagg was the main vocalist. That's right. He's just credited there at the end. And yeah, he does some really interesting vocals and an interesting songwriter as well, as shown by the first song, Mr. Briefcase, a kind of anti-capitalism rant, which works really well and could easily have been a track on an early Steely Dan album. Although the production 1981 is more kind of, I guess, late period, maybe Steely Dan really. Certainly in that jazz funk area. And yeah, I just really enjoy it. Lee Ritenour's on the guitars. It's not not he's more in the background, of course. It's not kind of virtuoso guitar playing on a lot of this record, but really great tune, Mr. Briefcase. And I think it's a really great sounding album for 1981. I'm really enjoying this. It wasn't an album I knew, But hearing this on vinyl on my hi-fi at home, I really appreciate this. The songwriting, the sound, the production of this record is top notch. And I'm not surprised it's one of his best-selling records. Maybe it's his best-selling record. I'm not sure. It was certainly a big hit for Lee at the time, and uh, and showed that it was worthwhile him trying to cross over a little bit into the pop rock field post Steely Dan's kind of peak. But yeah, great record. Really enjoying this. So that's 242 records. Now, the other area I wanted to get to, which was luckily was close to where we were doing some business actually in central Bangkok, was in Fortune Town, where they have half a dozen or so record shops, all kind of bunched together on the third floor in this technology mall. Really, where they have all kinds of IT and tech, smartphones, laptops, computers for sale. But on the third floor, they have a high-end hi-fi area. So they're selling Macintoshes and amplifiers and Sonos Faber speakers and other really high-end equipment. Interesting. I didn't really have time to wander around there, but yeah, or have the serious money to start buying high-end hi-fi equipment. I'm pretty happy with my hi-fi at the moment. So I wanted to go to the record shops, and I went to one or two first of all, and just had a little mooch around. But finally, I came across well, one of the ones I was earmarking was it's called Vinyl and Toys. Now, this is really, I think, the probably the biggest in terms of space, and I think the best one there in that area, especially if you're into your jazz and your soul. So there's a huge or pretty big jazz funk section, jazz funk fusion section, rack after rack, and there's a big soul funk section, which I didn't have time to even start looking at there. But given the choice, I always go to the jazz funk fusion section. That's really my bag. And maybe next time I go back and just rifle through the whole soul funk section. I'm sure I'd find some great records there too. But I decided, look, I've got an hour, only had an hour, so I'm going to stick to first base, which for me is the jazz funk fusion. And these, I found five records um, in great condition. And the first one was Tom Scott, Intimate Stranger. Yeah, I think this was when I got home, this was the first one I put on actually. I was just maybe the most curious because in the shop I didn't actually no, I did listen to this one in the shop because I wasn't sure. This was the one I was least sure about, just going through the rack and pulling out records. I had recently discovered Tom Scott and had been listening to him a bit on Spotify, and he was definitely a name that I was looking out for. And I found this album, Intimate Strangers, um, from 1978, and yeah, it's interesting actually. I think this is a Japanese repress, hence the very good, new condition really of this. But yeah, the record's in great condition. Actually, he very kindly kind of vacuum cleaned it and uh, and uh, and cleaned the record for me in the shop as well because it was a bit dusty, but actually in perfect condition. Um, and yeah, this Japanese edition, yeah, it sounds great. Sounds really good. And yeah, I really enjoyed reading the liner notes as well, which they had for the Japanese edition inside the cover here. A really interesting kind of synopsis and of the record, particularly the first side, which is a kind of a concept album, the first side of it anyway, about the the birth and development, and maybe the end of a love affair. And yeah, it works. You can kind of you can get into this kind of little narrative, the way these four songs link together. So, part one, sudden attraction, lost inside the love of you, and then a night out together, day and night out together, getaway day. Yeah, and it's just yeah, beautifully done. Um, soulful, thoughtful, introspective, but yeah, one or two faster, more up tempo tunes there as well. And the second side's great as well. It's um it's a really well produced, interesting uh, jazz record, jazz fusion elements in there. But this is always easy to listen to. It's not easy listening. It's really great instrumental jazz from the late 70s. Intimate Strangers, Tom Scott, yeah. He made a lot of records. Some of them were in the more smooth, but this isn't a smooth jazz record. This is a really interesting jazz record. Um, so yeah, Tom Scott, and then classic for lovers of late 70s, early 80s jazz, funk, fusion. Fuse One, the second album. I bought the first one last year, and this is just as good. The All Star Band with uh, well, there they are all on the back. Stanley Clarke, Ronnie Foster, and Gudu. I think he's playing the drums. Tom Brown, Stanley Torrentine playing the sax. Eric Gale, George Benson, uh, Dave Valentin, Wynton Marsalis. So a real super group with a core of I think the first four members there. But yeah, what a great like Silk track one is really tremendous, a tremendous record, and but the whole record is great. A little bit more disco, a little bit more disco funky. But still, it's got its jazz chops. This record, this is still a great jazz record. I really enjoy this, and I enjoy Stanley Turrentine, George Benson on the guitar as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next record at Vinyl and Toys in Fortune Town that I found. And this was a Sadao Watanabe record. If you watched my video from last week, you'll know that I picked up his greatest hits record in Songkla. And then, yeah, a couple of weeks later in Bangkok, I found some more Japanese pressings of his. I think this is early 80s. I think this one's called Morning Island. And it has a couple of the tunes on that greatest hits package, actually. But this is a great record. Really enjoyed this. Enjoy the artwork as well. Early 80s, I think this one is, 1979, actually, late 70s. Morning Island and Down East. The first two tunes are on the greatest hits record I bought. But this whole record is really interesting, really cool. Um, Jazzy and maybe a little bit Brazilian influences there at times, which I know he was into his bossa nova. A great saxophone player. Started in the 60s. You can go back and dig around on Spotify for old 1960s records. But yeah, he kind of hit maybe a commercial peak here in the late 70s with these kinds of records. Obviously, this one taken in New York. Uh, just a really great, enjoyable jazz fusion album with yeah, with some. He always got he had great connections. Sadao Watanabe. He has here Eric Gale on electric guitar, Michael Brecker on tenor saxophone as well, Steve Gadd on the drums, so Dave Grusin. So the usual suspects here in that kind of smooth jazz fusion area. But he made quite a few interesting records actually, and I found another one here, which is actually I worked out afterwards is again a compilation of some of his best 1970s tunes, and which are hard to find actually. You won't find these a lot of these records that easily. But some of these albums are available to find on Spotify, where this compilation is taken from. But this is a really interesting compilation of his more acoustic jazz records from this time, which have a really nice kind of um, flow to them. I really enjoy these records. As I say, more acoustic, less kind of smooth jazz fusion, and more of a feel of quite a loose jazz band, a little bit more spiritual jazz, maybe, with a kind of cool kind of churning tempo just to a lot of these records, which I really enjoy. Uh, Pastoral, the start of side B, is a great one. and Bali, Africa. So some African vibes in here as well. Um, all Japanese band this. And so yeah, this is sorry, this is early 70s really, late 60s even. There's one tune here from 1969, 72, 71, 73, 72, 74. All those early 70s years this record is taken from, and an all Japanese band. Yeah, for those who find maybe the late 70s stuff a little bit too commercial or smooth, this is a great, what a great introduction this is to his mid 70s records, early 70s records, which are more acoustic in style. And yeah, I think I maybe prefer this. This is great. I'm still getting into this record. And this one can go deep, I think. Sadao Watanabe. Not actually sure. It doesn't seem to have a name, actually, to be honest, this record. And I couldn't really find it online, actually, this actual compilation. Maybe it's a rare one. So, yeah, good one, though. Sounds great, too. Really great pressing. Last one is a record I know well and have loved on CD for many years. Milt Jackson's Plenty, Plenty Soul. But when I found this copy in perfect condition, the record just looks is just mint condition. I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, a Japanese reissue, but it's obviously been around a while, but it's in perfect condition as a record. Sounds fantastic, this record. It's actually, I think, two separate sessions kind of put together. Side one and side two have different artists. Side two has Horace Silver on the piano, Connie Kay on drums. Side one has it still has Horace Silver, but Art Blakey on the drums on side one. And the first tune on this record, Plenty Plenty Soul, it's just turn it up. And this is the sound of a great bigger jazz band. Not big band, but you can see there's how many are there? Eight uh, uh, musicians here. Milt Jackson, Ronnie Peters, Frank Foster, Sahib Shihab, Joe Newman, Jimmy Cleveland, Horace Silver, Percy Heath, Art Blakey, nine musicians on side one. Side two is a more traditional three, four, five, well, still six musicians on side two. All the arrangements are by Quincy Jones. Yeah. So again, this is top notch jazz. Milt Jackson, of course, on the vibes, one of the great vibraphonists, along with Bobby Humphrey. Sorry, Bobby Hutchison. Sorry, not Bobby Humphrey. Who was a great soul artist. Along with Bobby Hutchison, Roy Ayers, of course, in the fusion era. But yeah, Milt Jackson right up there in the early years of jazz with Bobby Hutchison. And this is a great album. I really, really enjoy this one. Milt Jackson, Plenty, Plenty Soul. Just great, energetic jazz from one of the masters of the vibraphone, Milt Jackson. So there we go. Six records from sunny Bangkok. And yeah, I really enjoyed that trip to a couple of the vinyl outposts here in the capital city here of Thailand. Well, thanks for watching today. Do you know and like any of these records? Have you been record shopping in Bangkok and have any other recommendations? Any other albums by these artists that you particularly recommend? Sadao Watanabe is maybe the one that I'm most curious about and digging around in Spotify for other albums and elsewhere. Enjoy his his albums. So yeah, thank you for watching again. And as I said, I've got last week's video as well from Songkla. If you want to catch up on what's happening in South Thailand, watch that one. But that's all for me for today, and I will see you again here next time. I'm carrying on. Bye for now.